suffering of individual organisms,
Okay.
and say, the right of a species to be viable. Because obviously every living thing, suffers to a certain extent. Maybe not trees or plants, but maybe, who knows? But still, but the right of other species to have viable ecosystems in which to live, and that humans don't necessarily, have the right just to expand exponentially.
In a way that
I mean, this is all
impedes on them.
Yeah, and
So there might be a way to do it more. You can try to be optimistic about our capacity to kind of find new ways of getting along with other species. There's also a lot of reason for pessimism too.
Yes, yes, and it also is kind of a little bit similar to the argument about there being two lives coexisting and both have a right. Like the baby inside and the mother. I mean,
we're like the mother.
Yeah.
It's a funny play on words because Mother Nature, but
right.
Nature's like this vulnerable fetus, right?
Right.
That we just can dominate if we choose.
Yeah, if we choose to eliminate it, we can.
Yeah, I don't think we should, obviously. I think we should be very respectful of it. And
so given the vast numbers of people, I mean, you look at the increase in the human population since the Industrial Revolution, there's an argument that any way in which we control the growth of our species has legitimacy.
Yeah, and I actually think there might be ways to encourage less reproduction that are like kind of responsible and rely on education rather than coercive measures, and that are not discriminatory and whatever. I'm not entirely against that, in principle. I think my intuitions are that more towards the goodness of life, and that at least now we live in a situation where in the West we have the luxury of prosperity that allows you, if you make certain sacrifices, to have several children comfortably. Some people. And I think that's a great sort of gift and a joy. It tends to be a joy for parents, even though they pull their hair out and complain about it. It's like, for most of them, it's the best thing they've ever done. I want to kind of keep that in mind, the goodness of life, and that so it's not my intuition to worry about. Maybe I should. Maybe I should look at all the. I didn't know that our extinction rate is higher. The species going out of existence is highest now than it's ever been. That's hard.
Ever been in the history of the planet?
Is that what you said?
No. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to say that. It's
high.
It's high in that it is compared to 5 different periods of mass extinction.
Wow, that's pretty interesting. I mean, I just would have never guessed that. But I guess I don't pay attention to that stuff as much.
I suspect it's much less than, say, when a giant meteor hits the Earth and it just, creates a nuclear winter of sorts.
But the volcanic eruption that creates
it's not as sudden. It's not as sudden as that, but it is, during the period of the Industrial Revolution, it is comparable in terms of the number of species.
Is it thousands hundreds per day or something?
Something like that, yeah. I don't know the exact number. But
there are millions of species, right?
Yeah.
So you could easily have, you could have tens of thousands per year, and it would be a small percentage of the total species,
right.
But still a significant number.
Right.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, you could maybe.
And it's largely due to habitat encroachment and things of that nature.
We're the problem. Right. Although before humans, as you know, there were plenty of extinctions.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, and that's, yeah.
The fact that we can think about it and might be responsible for it is interesting to me, right? Because it kind of grounds some basis for saying that humans are higher. I don't know. We don't seem to hold the lions to the same standard when they eat the lambs. You know what I mean? There's a kind of way in which we intuitively understand and are assuming that humans are have a higher responsibility because of what we are. I like that, actually. I just want to point that has implications for the whole question. It comes back on itself.
Definitely. All right, well, I am out of time. I'm going to call it there.
Don't delete it.
No, I'm watching the light.
I can't
there.
do this again.
I know. I bet you can,
what
actually.
am I saying? I'd love
I
to,
bet
yeah.
you can. Is there anything real quick that you wanted to add to your position,
Nothing
your argument?
whatsoever.